These niggas about to make a whole lot of money. These niggas about to make a whole lot of money. I like all my kisses, friend, when I'm on my champagne. Everybody turn around taking them big, cause I'm on my champagne. And I'm throwing them hits on my champagne. And keep throwing them hits, cause I'm on my champagne. These niggas about to make a whole lot of money. These niggas about to make a whole lot of money. I like all my kisses, friend, when I'm on my champagne. Everybody turn around taking them big, cause I'm on my champagne. And I'm throwing them hits on my champagne. And keep throwing them hits, cause I'm on my champagne. These niggas about to make a whole lot of money. These niggas about to make a whole lot of money. These niggas about to make a whole lot of money. I like all my kisses, friend, when I'm on my champagne. Everybody turn around taking them big, cause I'm on my champagne. And I'm throwing them hits on my champagne. And keep throwing them hits, cause I'm on my champagne. These niggas about to make a whole lot of money. These niggas about to make a whole lot of money. I like all my kisses, friend, when I'm on my champagne. Everybody turn around taking them big, cause I'm on my champagne. And I'm throwing them hits on my champagne. And keep throwing them hits, cause I'm on my champagne. These niggas about to make a whole lot of money. These niggas about to make a whole lot of money. These niggas about to make a whole lot of money. I like all my kisses, friend, when I'm on my champagne. Everybody turn around taking them big, cause I'm on my champagne. And I'm throwing them hits on my champagne. And keep throwing them hits, cause I'm on my champagne. These niggas about to make a whole lot of money. These niggas about to make a whole lot of money. I like all my kisses, friend, when I'm on my champagne. Everybody turn around taking them big, cause I'm on my champagne. And I'm throwing them hits on my champagne. And keep throwing them hits, cause I'm on my champagne. These niggas about to make a whole lot of money. These niggas about to make a whole lot of money. I like all my kisses, friend, when I'm on my champagne.
For your invitation, sham to experience the clink, the chaos, and all of the empowerment you desire. There's a secret in the bottle, the bottle, the bottle. I just can't get a little clink with chaos, you know we got some. Hella hood with class, baby, I'm doing one. Come sip and savor so we can spill some. And if you lost your way, we'll leave the light on. There's a secret in the bottle, the bottle, the bottle. I just can't get enough. Champagne secrets.
Ain't no sex in the champagne room, says who? Maybe we could break all the rules, me and you. Maybe we could break all the rules and bring it through. And we could get it poppin'. Ain't no sex in the champagne room, says who? Maybe we could break all the rules, me and you. Maybe we could break all the rules and bring it through. And we could get it poppin'.
Champagne Gang, FizzFam, Confidante. Welcome to the chalet located in Champagne City, baby. You see it. You see it. Come join me, the Empress, for grown discussions and bubbly banter. Over here, we give classy with a twist, huh? A little clink with chaos with a side of charm. So if you're ready to sip, savor, and spill, baby, grab your glass of your favorite bubbly. Grab one of those chase lounges over there and kick your feet up. Say hi to a few people in the chat and come on in. Let's get ready to get into it. I hope your day has been lovely. I hope you've maximized every moment. I hope you've taken some time today to think about you. Do something nice for you. I hope you took the time today to look in the mirror, pop your collar, and say what's up. I think sometimes we forget that we got to take care of us in these busy days. So I hope as the day progresses, as the night progresses, you take some time to say something positive to yourself. Make yourself feel good every now and then. Always remember, validation is for vehicles. The only validation you need is yourself. And with that being said, take those glasses and raise them high in the air, and let's get ready for our dose of empowerment. Today we're talking about the imagination. Your imagination is limitless. It's a powerful force that creates worlds beyond the ordinary. Embrace your creative spirit, for within you lies the ability to see possibilities where others see none. Trust in your unique vision and let your imagination soar, knowing that every idea, no matter how wild it is, has the potential to shape your reality and inspire others. You are the artist of your own life, painted with bold, vibrant colors and fearless creativity. Here's to you, Confidant, for you are worth it. Yes. Y'all ready to get into it? Because I think we need to start talking about these kids. Because my concern is, who's at fault for the current behavior that we see in our children, in our youth? It can't just be them because they're babies. But it's still something that we need to talk about. Because our babies are in trouble. Our babies are in danger. The other day, y'all, I forgot. Look, I created a whole video to play while I did the affirmations. And I forgot to show it to y'all. Hold on. I'm going to show it to y'all now. Because it's too pretty not to show. It's too pretty for y'all not to have been affirmed with the falling diamonds in the background. Because what? But that's okay. I wanted to get the affirmations to y'all. But have we created monsters is the question. Do we need to sit back and have conversations with ourselves in regards to our children and their behaviors? Yes, the children are at ages where they know right from wrong. But how much discipline did we give them? Did we set boundaries, or did we just tell them it's your life, you can do what you want to do? Did we give them guidance, or did we let the street guide them? Did we give them love and attention, or did they learn love and attention from their friends? Are we responsible for what we've created? Are we responsible for what we see today? We talked the other day about Sexy Red and her lip gloss line with some of the most vulgar names that she could have ever thought to come up with. But again, that's the defiant generation. I'm going to do the exact opposite of what you tell me to do and what you told me to do. Because I want to be defiant. I want to do it my way. Then the other day we talked about the danger of hoe culture. Because all these children, all these young girls just want to be little hoes. They'll do anything for a piece of change these days. Twerk it, clap it, fly to Dubai and be a porta potty. Get on reality networks and fight. Get your edges snatched out, your wig snatched off, breasts hanging out, half naked for the world to see you acting like rabid-ass animals on TV, fighting. Because this is the do anything for clout era that we're living in. This is the get the bag by any means necessary. I don't care what I got to do to get it as long as I get it. This is the everybody has a price era. It's no longer about morals. It's no longer about standards. It's about get the money. That's it. Everybody's thinking about money. Nobody's thinking about what am I going to think when I look back on this 10 years from now and see the way I behave. See how I acted. What are my kids going to see 5-10 years down the line? When I have my coochie bust open for the world to see on OnlyFans and everywhere else. Because I was all about chasing the dollar. I was all about getting the bag. Come on, y'all. Our babies are in trouble. And they're going to be in more trouble if we don't do something. Because when you stop and think about it, these older generations, the older kids who are acting like they've lost their minds, they started as children with no discipline, who were allowed to do whatever they wanted to do and had parents that laughed at it and just thought it was funny. And it was funny until it was too late. Do we not understand that we have a generation of children who cannot read? It's bad enough they took cursive out of the school. That's bad enough. But we have a generation of children who cannot read. Oh, but they know Sexy Red. Oh, but they want to be on Zeus. They want to be on Baddies. They want to be a baddie. They want to be on OnlyFans. Younger and younger. Overly sexualized at young ages. And we don't see a problem with this. But you don't have to take my word for it. Check this out.
For this next generation of children. I decided to work at a summer camp this year, and I didn't understand the severity of the brain rot. Holy shit. Not only is their lingo actually terrifying, but the entitlement and genuine stupidity, and I'm sorry to call kids stupid, but like, we are...
Hold on one second, y'all. Alright, let me start this over for you.
Terrified for this next generation of children. I decided to work at a summer camp this year, and I didn't understand the severity of the brain rot. Holy shit. Not only is their lingo actually terrifying, but the entitlement and genuine stupidity, and I'm sorry to call kids stupid, but like, we are not smart anymore at all, is so scary. I had kids not knowing that there were 7 continents at the age of 12. Half the kids cannot spell without asking for how to spell it or just sounding it out, which is baffling to me. And I understand that there's like some 4-year-olds that I'm like, you don't even know how to write yet. Like, you're chilling. But at the age of 8 to 12, if you don't know how to spell the word exit, it's kind of scary. Next issue is the genuine entitlement that kids nowadays have. And I'm coming at this from a youngest of 5, spoiled brat, youngest daughter. Like, I got everything I wanted. I never got in trouble for shit. And I'm saying that these kids are entitled. I had a 10-year-old boy break down, like throw a literal hissy fit for 30 minutes over one rule changing in walkie-talkie tag, being that there can be more than one person guarding the jail. It's never been like that. You're trying to make us look. Calm down, you're 10. I had to literally Urban Dictionary so many words this year, and it's so scary. There was a point where we had coaches playing this game. It was literally flip clap, but all the coaches were playing and the kids were watching. I had 30 kids chanting "Live sells," and I said, "What the fuck does that mean?" I didn't know what I didn't know what it meant to sell, and so I asked one of the girls. I said, "Hey, what is live? Like, why were they chanting live sells?" And they're saying, "Oh, you suck." And I said, "Okay." I guess that's fine. We were playing Capture the Flag the other day, and I had a kid upset with one of the calls, and he did this. He was like, dude! He was doing replay from the Euro Cup, expecting me to know what this meant. Replay. Where's the cameras? Like, where do you expect me to replay this, you falling and you're out? Like, where do you expect that? What? Like, it's so strange. The scariest part for me is watching the girls be so overly consumed about what they look like all the time. There was a 12-year-old, I love this girl to death, but oh my gosh, every day it is something about looking ugly, looking fat, not having the right skincare, or forgetting her Dior lip gloss, like pulling out makeup products out of her bag that I would not even dare to touch on expensiveness. Like, it's so, I don't mean to say concerning, but like, we have girls that are 10 to 12 years old really worrying about what they look like on the day-to-day while at summer camp. There is not a single guy for you to impress at summer camp, girl. Like, you are 12. Let's not worry about men till we're like, never. Like, don't worry about dating people until you're like in high school, dude. You are it's just so concerning. It's so concerning. And I know that the older generation was concerned about us, but I'm like, not to be saying that we're the exception, but we were a little bit different. I'm not gonna lie. Just a little bit.
It's Miss.
And this is the thing. Why does a child need all of that? Why? At 12 years old, worried about skincare? Hell, your skin is still going through changes. Your skin is still trying to figure itself out. And you're spending a lot of money on your children, on your 12-year-old. Do we take the time out to think about their grades as much as we think about buying them the next name brand? Buying them skincare that's probably gonna mess up their skin because they're too young. Their skin isn't developed enough for it. But see, we don't think about things like that. We allow our children to be over social media lives. That now the kids care about their appearance because what? They see the adults over obsessing on their appearance. Progressive one said, what happened to parental boundaries? There are no parental boundaries. That's the problem. There's barely any parents. That's the problem. Parents aren't parenting. Parents are trying to be their kids' friends. They're trying to be cool. And again, they're trying to live vicariously through their children. So they allow the waywardness and tell them they're just figuring themselves out. They're just trying to figure out life like we had to. There's a lot of people that didn't make it out of the figuring it out stage. A lot of people.
Shelton, and I'm back with the 3rd grade update. I found out why a lot of the boys in my class are having behavioral issues. Apparently they have gotten into Twitch and they're listening to a lot of streamers who told them that women do not deserve rights, therefore they don't believe in learning from a woman. Yesterday, Aiden told me I'm a stupid bitch and I have no guy at. I don't even know what that means. I had a laughing emoji in one of their assignments and they all said I was slow millennial cringe. I don't know what that means. I put up Christmas classroom decor and all the girls could say is it's so preppy in here, and I don't know if they're being nice or if they're being mean. The only way they'll listen to me is if I let them play with slime while I speak. Told me they don't feel like they need to learn how to read because AI will just do it for them. They're so behind, I'm really worried.
7th grade, they are still performing on the 4th grade level.
I was reading at a high school level when I was in elementary school. And the reason for that was because my parents had me doing book reports outside of school for them. Now, they weren't reading the book, so I don't really know why they had me doing that, but I was doing book reports. If I scored low on something on a test, there was a workbook that they went out and got for me that I had to complete so that I didn't have an issue with that anymore. I did tutoring. I did tutoring over the summer. I had tutoring one summer because I got a 90 in a class, a 90%, but that was too close to a B, and we couldn't have that. If you had a spelling test coming up, the day that they gave you those spelling words, my dad would be like, okay, spell the words for me. You missed one, you had to write it 100 times. And that may seem like a lot, but I made it to the state spelling bee. I've made it to the state science fair. I've made it to the state literary fair. I have done so many different things in my educational career because my parents set me up for success when I was young. And there are not enough people who are setting their kids up. And unfortunately, there were some kids that were left behind back in the 90s and the 2000s, and now they have kids and they don't know what to do with them. The parents can't read, so now the kids can't read. And there's too many people who also put too much onto the teachers and think that they're not supposed to do anything once they bring the kids home. That's just not how that works. And we've got to do better because the kids are dumb. I hate to say it like that, but they're dumb. It's ridiculous. I have come in contact with young children, middle school age children, who don't know basic history, basic facts, basic math. I don't know what's going on, but we've got to rectify this because we cannot have a generation of dummies. We can't do it. It's too much stress when they get older to try to reteach them. And we also need to go back to basic computer learning too, because you would think that these kids who grew up on iPads knew how to type. They don't know how to type. They don't know how to use Excel. They don't know how to do anything. Somewhere in between after millennials and the beginning of Gen Z, we completely lost track of education. And we need to do something about it.
I need to throw.
Did y'all see how the kids were during the pandemic? Did y'all see the videos that were going around the internet of those kids and how they behaved during their online school days? My sister sat with my nephews during the pandemic during one of their classes. And when she was done, she made a post and she said, from now on, whatever that teacher called me and tell me them kids did, they did it. She said those kids were so horrible on that online school. And I saw some videos. And I said, you got this generation gonna be dumb as hell. That's all I could say in my head. Because I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Are the parents watching playbacks of how their kids behave in school? I said, that's what should have happened. They should have sent it to the parents. And had the parents logging in and seeing the behavior of their children. How do you get suspended from online school? Please make it make sense. Because you want to be an ass. Kids smoking weed while they're in class. One girl, the teacher had to tell her to put on a shirt because she was in her bra. Online class. One girl was having sex All you heard was moaning in the background. Online class. But see, that starts as babies. If you don't instill it in them as little ones, what else do you expect when they become teenagers? When they have influences outside of your own? I understand now why my mom didn't let me go by a lot of people's houses. Because you don't know what everybody believes. You don't know what values they're instilling into their children that may rub off on your children. And then your children are bringing those behaviors home, and you're trying to figure out where it came from. The people they're hanging out with, being influenced by. How is it that we have children in the 4th grade, 7th graders, 12-year-olds who cannot read? Are parents not checking homework? Because my parent checked homework. We had to sit at the table and do the homework. We had to let her see the paper so she knew what it was we had to do. Do kids even get report cards home anymore? My mama used to have to sign for our report cards so that the school knew she actually saw it. How is it that our children cannot read and we do not know it? That is a problem. It's a problem. Progressive One said, this is the generation that has not had a whipping, never had their lips pinched, never had a punishment, never had the state of all stares. Yeah, come on now. Our parents could look at us a certain way and we knew that we needed to stop playing. Because if we didn't stop playing, it was going to be trouble. Half of these parents act like they're scared of the kids. You scared to tell your child to go sit down somewhere and do their homework. You scared to tell your children to get out of grown folks' business. You allow your children to sit around while grown folk is gossiping and talking about grown folk stuff. As parents, some of us got to take responsibility for some of this. No, we weren't as attentive to our children. No, we didn't pay attention to the fact that they weren't doing homework. No, we didn't do that. No. Some of these parents, the fact of the matter is they're still trying to hang out in the street like they kids. It's hard to keep your kid out the street when you in there too. You can't keep track of them when you in the same place. A lot of these stories I hear and I see the time that they happen when a lot of these babies lose their lives. 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, midnight. At 14 years old, what are you doing outside of the house at 2 o'clock in the morning? I don't care if it is a weekend. Where are the boundaries? Who's setting boundaries for these kids? Because we're losing our babies in the education system. And they're going from uneducated to the jailhouse. Niecy said these kids nowadays act like they're the parents. They do. Can't tell them nothing. They don't want sound advice. They don't want guidance. They don't want leadership. Unless it's one of their peers. And it better be a peer that agrees with everything they say and do. Because if they don't, then they're not. See, that's the way this generation thinks. If you don't agree with me, then you're against me. That's the way they think these days. But there's nobody in their lives telling them, no, you're against yourself. You're your only holdup. You're your downfall. You gotta be the change you want to see. But you can't tell them a different way if you're not showing them a different way. This is not the do as I say, not as I do as how I go. Do as I say, not as I do generation. This is the nope, I'm gonna do exactly what I see you do generation.
Down a very serious rant because I'm experiencing something that is really getting on my last damn nerves. So basically, I'm a teacher. I do supply work. I work in various different schools. I've been teaching for like 10 years. I've been in the game for 10 years. And before that, I was a teaching assistant. So I've been there even longer than 10 years. One thing that I'm noticing, this generation alpha, bloody hell, they are a piece of work. And I'm seeing some teachers in America saying this, but so I work in year 2, and oh my God, I feel victimized by some of these 6 and 7 year olds. Like, they don't listen, they're violent as hell. Their academic abilities are so much lower than I've seen in my previous teaching years. They're helpless. You ask a question, they're just staring at you. They still can't form their letters. Like before, in a class of 30, you might have had maybe 5 or 6 students that, needed support to access the curriculum. Now it's like the other way around. You have 5 or 6 students that can access the curriculum, and then the rest of the class really struggles. It is bizarre. I don't know how we're raising them or what on earth is going on, but they can't manage their emotions. They're throwing tantrums left, right, and center. They hide under tables, they storm out, they don't listen to instructions. You tell them something and they just mock you and repeat after you what you've just said. They don't be quiet. It is stressful as hell. Like, it makes you contemplate walking out of the profession because it is just too much. Now, I don't know what on earth is going on. If someone knows, like, let me into like the secret as to what's going on. But oh my God, it is like, it is only lunchtime. What time is it? It is like just almost 1:45. So I haven't even done a full teaching day and I've already had enough. Like, I'm ready to go home. Like, I'm so over it. I'm so done. You lot, what on earth is going on with Generation Alpha?
Disturbing things I've read.
They have no boundaries. That's what's going on with Generation Alpha. They have no boundaries and no one's giving them boundaries. They're babies. You know what we do? We coddle them and say, oh, it's so cute. They throw a temper tantrum. Come here, baby. Come here, sugar. And it becomes embedded in them. If I want my way, all I have to do is throw a tantrum. That's why the older and older they get, what do when they can't get their way? They throw tantrums. As they get older, the tantrum becomes yelling. It becomes screaming. It becomes throwing things. If you don't get that under control, it becomes violent. It becomes rage. There are signs to these things. There's an escalation. But a lot of parents ignore the signs that their children are in trouble. And the world is screaming at us right now. Our kids are in trouble. They can't read. They're dumb. Since when have you heard a teacher say kids are dumb? That should let you know how bad the situation has gotten. When they're just not even willing to sugarcoat it to you anymore. These kids can't read. They have no comprehension skills. While we twerking and turn up, we're losing our babies. Because we want to have fun. This is the way we behave toward it right here.
Hey, that ain't got shit to do with me. That ain't got shit to do with me. That ain't got shit to do with me. That ain't got shit to. Hey, that ain't got shit to do with me. That ain't got shit to do with me. That ain't got shit to do with me. That ain't got shit to do with me.
That's how we do. That's how we do. We just walk past it like, it's not me. I graduated. Not realizing you're going to have to come in contact with some of these very kids. These are going to be your restaurant workers, your customer service staff, your managers, your CEOs, your law officials, your government officials. That's going to be these individuals. So what hope do they have if they cannot read, if they cannot write? And we're not even paying attention to it because we're too busy having fun. We're too busy kicking it. We're too busy living free because this is a free society now. You can do what you want to be. You can do what you want to do. You can be who you want to be. If you don't want to be a woman anymore, you don't have to be. If you don't want to be a man anymore, you don't have to be. If you want to be an animal, that is your right. If you want to be a hoe, that is your privilege. Not realizing because the internet is forever and the internet is open, our children are seeing this. But we don't care because we're having fun. We're being city girls, city boys. It's twerk fest. It's okay for me now to run around naked because no one's going to care. Because everyone's naked. Everyone's free. But you forgot you got children at home that you got to set an example for. That you got to raise to be productive members of society. We forgot about that part. Because we want to have fun. We want to kick it. It's my life. I want to live how I want to. So now our grown ass is running around having tantrums because we got to sit at home and be mothers. We got to take care of the children that we decided to create. The moment we decided to lay down and open our legs. Come on, y'all. We got to think because our babies are in trouble. They in trouble.
In a while, a post on r/teachers has gone viral titled, "It's going to get worse, isn't it?" This person has been teaching for 14 years and they teach grades 9 through 12 English Language Arts, or ELA. They start out by saying that all grades seem to have in common a one and done aesthetic, meaning all students get a chance to improve their grades with revisions, but fewer than 1/3 even try. And then the parents complain when the kid doesn't have an A, even though the kid refused to do revisions, didn't address the prompt, and had tons of spelling errors, even though it was a digital assignment. He says the parents just stare stone-faced and say, "But you assigned a one-page essay, and he turned in a one-page essay." It can often become a 3-on-1 battle where the parents are trying to be best friends with the kids and disregard mountains of missing homework. Parents beg for extra credit to turn the grade around, even though the kid didn't turn in any of the work and bombed all of the tests. Literally 95% of my tests are open notebook. I painstakingly go over content and literally say things like, "This is definitely something I'd want to have in my notebook." And still less than half of them ever write anything in their notebook aside from sketches of anime characters. Almost every kid tells me they don't go to bed until 1 a.m. and more than half show up in their pajamas, wrapped in fleece blankets, clutching their Starbucks/Stanley, but leaving everything but their uncharged laptops at home. Is this going to be the new normal? The teacher said the one thing that all the kids have in common is that they don't care. If this is true, is this not the biggest problem we're facing as a culture? Our kids don't care about life? Should we not stop everything we're doing and figure out how to take better care of our kids? If this is really the new normal, we need to press pause right now and figure out what's going on, because this system is clearly not working.
This is Miss Chella.
Hey, yeah, this.
I absolutely agree with him, but in order to stop everything and focus on the children, you got to be focused on the children. It's too many people out here who had children just to hold on to a nigga. Said what I said. They had all of these children to trap a man, and when they realized the trap didn't work, they no longer wanted the children. I mean, if we're going to talk about it, let's talk. Scoot up. Too many trifling women out here that don't care about their kids. Then they birth kids who don't care about their kids. Because you still want to run around in the street. You still want to bust it open and bust it down for a piece of change. You still trying to be flued out. Because the world is letting you know it's okay to be older and sexy. So now you want to flaunt your sex appeal. Instead of sitting at home and being a mother. Making sure that your daughters have moral guidance, moral aptitude. Making sure your sons know how to treat themselves and carry themselves as young men. But you can't teach them about how not being a hoe when they see you being one. Let's talk about it. You can't tell them what not to bring in when they see what you drag in every night, every other night. We are modeling lifestyles in front of our children that are setting our children up for failure. Let's continue.
This is Mr. Lindsay over at the middle school. Yeah, I understand that some of my students are going to be visiting the high school today, and they can be a little bit much. So I just wanted to call you and give you a heads up, prepare you a little bit.
Don't worry, Mr. Lindsay. I'm like one of the cooler, younger teachers here on campus, so these Gen Z kids don't scare me. I even have like a whole series about it, so I'm totally down with all of like the Gen Z slang. Like, I know the vibes. Bet.
Yeah, no, I don't think you understand. These kids are, how do you say, built different. Yeah, and they don't call them Gen Z anymore. They call them Gen Alpha, and they... Yeah! yeah, skibidi toilet. Bruh, Miss Chella, you've been working on your mewing?
What?
Your mewing? This class is about to be the best, bruh. What? Don't be an op, Miss Chella, don't be an op. What's up, chat? W in the chat for Miss Chella. W in the chat, bruh. It's so preppy in here. Miss Chella, you are the preppiest. Bruh. Tried to warn her. Whew.
Found out that my child, who was born in 2018, her generation is called Gen Alpha. And you know what their nickname is? I'll tag the creator who I heard this from. Gen Alpha Honey Badgers. When I tell y'all, as a millennial parent, I've never felt more seen or heard a more accurate description of an entire generation. Just Gen Alpha already hits the nail right on the head. My 5-year-old is Alpha AF. Has been, always will be. And when I tell you Honey Badger is what I'd use to describe her on a good day, these little beautiful psychos have more fury, conviction, and confidence in their pointer finger, which they don't mind putting in your face, than any activist or politician on the stage right now. But these big, beautiful little messes that we call our children, it all stems from a place of empathy. I mean, they were raised by millennials, us, and their iPads, because they're the first generation who literally has not known a day in their life without technology. And as proud as I am of us millennial parents out here, instilling justice and self-love and confidence in our children, they got a fire, y'all. Fire can do a lot of good for a lot of things, but it can also get out of control if it's not harnessed and used for good. Speak from experience, y'all. It's hard. It's hard out here in these streets. It's hard to find that balance as a millennial parent. We don't want to extinguish the fire, but we don't want our little kids running around being assholes to people that actually don't deserve it. Fine line. Because sometimes with my 5-year-old, I'm just like, catch me outside. Like, we're just going to do it right out here. I'm done. Let's just go and get it settled. Of course, I never do, because she's my angel. But it's hard to raise tough, strong, empathetic humans that might actually make a difference in this day and world. Maybe these little honey badgers are going to be the one to do it. If we can figure out how to keep them out of jail first. I've said this about my own child since she was very young. She's either going to run the country or a prison gang. Just depends on how she's feeling that day. And although she does and says things on a weekly basis that I'm not proud of as a parent, but take full responsibility for, I do love that damn little honey badger. We can figure it out, y'all. She's going to be a real badass one day.
Kids can bear. Let me tell y'all something. This new generation of kids are different. My grandson is 7. Let me tell y'all this story. Let me tell you how different these kids are. So, a lot of you know, back in March, I had to fly back home because my daughter, who was 7 months pregnant, lost her baby. She went to the doctor's appointment and found out the baby didn't have a heartbeat. So I flew in to be with her because, of course, she still had to deliver. So while I'm at the house, after she made it back home, and we made sure there was a funeral home for the baby to go to, I bought some gummies because I have a thing for sour gummies, especially Lifesavers. I have a thing for it. So I left my gummies on the couch. There was an open bag and there was a closed bag. I told my grandson, I said, don't you touch my gummies. He said, okay, Gigi, because that's what he called me. So I'm in the room with my daughter. And so I told her, I said, watch this. I said, grandson, bring me those gummies off the couch. So he takes a little bit. He brings me the gummies, but he brings me the open bag. I said, no, not the open bag. Give me the other bag, the one that's closed, the one I told you not to touch. He's like, okay. So he go back in the living room. Takes probably about 5 minutes to come back. He comes back, the bag is open. So I said, grandson, who told you to eat my gummies? We had this conversation before I left out the living room. Don't touch my gummies. My grandson looked at me in my face and he said, Gigi, my brain forgot to remind me that I was supposed to ask for your permission before I eat your gummies. So I was confused. What? At 7, I didn't know whether to be upset or impressed that he was able to come up with such an illogically logical response to why he ate my gummies. And I'm sitting here looking at him like, and I looked at his mama, she cracking up. Because your brain forgot to remind you at 7? Tell me we was coming up with stuff like that at 7. Please tell me. Tell me when your mother asked you a question about something that you did when you were 7 years old, you thought enough to come up with something as logical as my brain forgot to remind me. I was outdone. I didn't even know how to respond to it because what? These children are advanced. They are extremely advanced. But that advancement isn't going to do any good if they're uneducated. If they can't read, if they can't write. So what, we just going to have a bunch of clever dummies running around? Because we're not taking out the time to care about whether or not they're succeeding educationally. That was the one thing our parents cared about with us growing up. Oh, you gonna get that education. I don't care if you don't get nothing else. Baby, you gonna get that education. You gonna get an education and you gonna go to church. Those were non-negotiables. Come on now.
barely read. They can barely fucking read, and y'all arguing so they can say.
Can confirm, as someone who just started substitute teaching, I can confirm that everything that the lady said in the TikTok I just stitched is very true. These kids cannot read. My first substitute assignment, I subbed in for a middle school English teacher. She left a packet of work for her students to complete in her absence. She left instructions for me to follow, and I looked over the packet. I'm thinking, oh, this is pretty standard stuff. It was like grammar practice with commas, and then they had to do like a crossword puzzle with some vocab words, use the vocab words in a sentence. I'm like, okay, this is basically your standard.
That's the thing needs to be. We was getting whoopings and spankings. These kids don't get that. These parents are into gentle parenting because you don't want to mess up their mental health and their psyche, and you don't want to teach them abuse at young ages. What exactly do you mean abuse? Because I spanked you for what you did was wrong. Talking it was only gonna go so far in our old homes. But the minute they took prayer and discipline out of the school, not only that, but you got a lot of parents running around here talking about you can't say nothing to my child. Well, clearly you ain't saying nothing to your child either. That's the problem.
Their middle school busy work. I'm like, they'll knock this out, and then I figured they would be chill. Boy, was I wrong. The first thing that really shocked me was the fact that I had to tell so many students to write their name on their paper. And then when they did, they would only write their first name. No last name, no date, no period. They were in none of that. I'm like, why do I have to tell y'all to write your full name? And then the penmanship, my God, I was like, I'm thinking to myself, y'all are what, 7th grade? Why are y'all writing like some of them wrote like a 2nd or 1st grader. Like in terms of the penmanship, the quality, I'm like, this looks like chicken scratch. And so the writing, because reading and writing are, let's be clear, the two go together. So that should have been my first clue, honestly. But that is what kind of shocked me first. Then when it came to time for them to actually do the packets, the kids did not want to read the instructions. They would literally take the packet and be like, raise their hand, I don't know what to do. I'm like, what do you mean you don't know what to do? The first thing I asked them, did you read the instructions? They'd be like, oh, no. And I was like, read the instructions and then see if you still have questions. And then come to find out, a lot of these kids, like, they're not comfortable reading. By day 2 of my second assignment, it had become abundantly clear to me. America has a problem, and it's that these kids can't read. Like young Gen Z and these Gen Alpha babies, yeah, they can't read. They cannot read. And like another thing that shocked me was how low their vocabulary was and like their word recognition. They did not know how to recognize or pronounce certain words. I had some student ask me how to pronounce the word abbreviation and then ask me what that meant. One girl didn't know what segregated meant. And so I was just like, y'all are like 12, 13 that don't know what segregated means, don't know what an abbreviation is. I was just really, really shocked that these kids... my theory is COVID. I blame COVID and George Bush because that motherfucker left a lot of kids behind. And COVID, I thought there was a gap with everyone having to be remote, but it was just crazy to actually see in real time, like, yeah, these kids can't read.
Look, there's the problem right there. All you gotta do is scream and cry. We don't realize that this is training our children. That trains our babies. That all I have to do is cry and scream and I'm going to get my way. We don't even realize what we do to our children at a young age when we just give in because they're crying. Children have to learn boundaries when they are young, when they are babies, when they are toddlers. They have to learn, no, you can't have that. You can't touch that. You can't go there. Leave that alone. You remember when our parents and grandparents used to say hot? And a lot of our grandparents was only going to tell you once or twice. And after that, they was going to let you figure it out on your own. Because they already warned you. But these children have no boundaries. Have y'all ever gotten stressed out in a grocery store? Because you looked over at the children and how they were behaving and screaming and hollering, and you want to walk over to them and say, do you need me to take care of that for you? Because why? Who's the parent in the situation? Who's the leader? That's my question.
We thought Gen Z was crazy. Y'all, Gen Alpha is something else. Asked them, I was like, what do y'all consider like old? Like, how old is somebody that's old to you, right? And they said 25. Then I was like, what's something that old people do? Like, how do you know somebody's old by what they do? They said, because y'all hair be dyed different colors. Y'all listen to 90s or early 2000 music. Y'all ask for receipts at the store. Y'all actually answer the phone. Y'all wear skinny jeans. Y'all shop at Target. They didn't know the name for it, but basically they were saying we wear windbreakers. We be in bed by 9 p.m. We work corporate jobs. We have multiple degrees, and we tell people about it. We randomly yell 1738. That's partially my fault. We're very sarcastic, and they said we do long division and multiplication.
Zaire, how do you spell BMW?
B-E-Y.
How do we solve for X? Chosen.
You're going to take the square root of Kiat minus Riz, and then you're going to multiply by...
Miss Taylor, I need help. Sure, what question are you... I know you did not just blow blue raspberry shoelace in my face. Hand it over. Put it away. No. Amiri, can you read the sentence on the board, please?
The dog, I don't even know what that means for real. Like, what does that even say?
Amiri, you're a 22-year-old senior. Something has to give. Okay, Bella, can you tell us what your project is about?
My presentation is on the history of the modern-day Civil War.
Amazing choice.
For 7 years, the Barbs and Barty gang have...
Sit down. 1, 2, 3,
That is not even true.
Yes, it is.
I was never going to stop like this.
If you see me and you trying to see what's up.
See?
Okay, Jeremiah, this might be a trick question. What is the shape of that circle?
It's a rectangle.
Jeremiah, I just gave it to you.
But parents don't see a problem with that stuff. Parents don't think it's an issue. Parents think, oh, it'll be all right. Are parents even still sitting down with their kids and doing homework? Do parents still pop up on their kids in school to see how they're doing? You know, unannounced. Just pop up in the classroom. Sit through a day or two. Just to make sure what they say they're doing, they're actually doing. Do parents send the school their email and their cell phone and let them know if my child is not doing what they need to be doing, please reach out to me? How involved are we in our kids' lives? Because this right here, this is going to be a series that I do. Kids Who Kill. Have we created monsters? This is going to be a series. Because the number of cases that I run across and the number of cases that I am running across that are kids unaliving their parents, kids unaliving their friends, groups of kids that just wake up and decide to put together a plan and make a pact to unalive someone as a child. 12, 13. Really? Not too long ago, little boy unalived his mother because she wouldn't buy him a VR set. Do you know how much them things cost? But these kids can't accept no for an answer because we haven't taught them any boundaries. We haven't told them how to accept a no. We haven't told them how to deal with a no. Half of these kids probably haven't heard no before. What is that? Because these parents are giving these kids everything they want. I looked at how beautiful those girls and those kids look for prom, but in the back of my head, I was sitting back and thinking, how are they doing in school? Are they just skating past? Are these honor roll students? Are they working hard? What are they doing? Because all these kids, all this generation cares about doing is stunting for the gram. What y'all comments say? We got 60-year-old men dressing like a 17-year-old. Not cool for these kids when grandpa's sagging harder than the grandson. All these people trying to outdo each other. It's like they trying to recapture and reclaim a lost time. An era that they somehow feel like they missed. And now everybody's trying to reclaim it. Because you lost time not focusing on you. So now that your kids are grown, even though you didn't really instill nothing in them, now all of a sudden you want to live the life you didn't get to live when you were young. When you're at an age now where you should be instilling wisdom and imparting knowledge into the younger generation. But no, you don't want to impart knowledge into them. You want to have fun with them. You want to kick it with them. You want to be them. The kids shouldn't be sagging. But you see more older people doing it than you see the younger. Stuff is crazy. A lot of it is the parent. Some of these parents think money buy happiness. Let me see how that work out for you. Creating a monster. Absolutely, Niecy B. Because that's what they do now. They throw money at these kids. Or they turn a blind eye to what their kids are doing because the kids are throwing money at them. There it is. A lot of these parents know exactly what some of these kids are doing. They know they're selling drugs. They know that kid don't have a job.